Severe weather can destroy a home in seconds. There's no time to think, only time to act. Have a kit so you're ready for any emergency. Develop a plan for what you and your family will do before disaster strikes, and stay informed during severe weather any way you can. It can be the difference between losing your possessions and losing your life. Just ask the owners of this house. Visit ready.gov for ways to prepare your family for emergencies.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phalen, a weekly program here on LSN Television. We're also carried by a number of our radio affiliates throughout Fairfield County. I do appreciate each and every one of our viewers and listeners joining us every week, and certainly the folks here at Fairfield Christian Academy that put this program together, and our executive producer, Kelly Roberts. This week, very special guest. In fact, probably the best guest I could ever have. Good to see you.
Hi.
Is Loretta Phalen. And she's here to talk about Grace Haven Ministry. A lot of really kind of exciting things coming up here within the next, I guess, few days, few weeks as we come up on the big fundraiser that you do every year. Mm-hmm. You've been on the program a number of times before, but I think it's always good to start from the beginning and tell everybody about what Grace Haven Ministry is and what you folks do.
Well, Grace Haven Ministries, we just started out going to the jail and ministering to the ladies, and that's probably been 10 or 11 years ago.
Boy, that's hard to believe.
It's hard to believe.
Oh my golly.
And of course, it's not just me. There are lots of volunteers that do that. And once we were in there, we saw the need for a safe place to stay where people can work on their recovery without a lot of interference from old friends and old habits and things like that. So the Lord provided, and for about 7 years now, we've had, well, now we have 2 houses, but we've had at least one house that houses 4 people, and 2 houses house 8 people. And the women come in, and you know, they have an opportunity to make a change and to grow and to learn about Jesus and to work on their recovery. They go into the community and use community services for that, counseling and things like that. And so it's been quite an adventure.
It is a full-time job, and I've told you and I've told everybody, you have a tougher job than me because
you
sometimes
say that. I don't believe it.
Well,
you say that.
With my job, I have people to delegate to, and sometimes with your limited volunteers and things, it's kind of tough. You know, when you think about where you came as an educator, and you were a teacher here at Fairfield Christian Academy.
I miss it terribly.
Oh, I know it. And then the Lord called you to be involved in Grace Haven Ministry.
Yes.
I bet you would have never dreamed 10 years ago that this is what your life work would be.
No, I really didn't. But you know how God works. When you look back, you see that everything you've learned up to that point was the reason that you're able to do what you do. So.
Has that background in education been a big plus?
Yes, very, very big plus. You know, to work out problems, to interpersonal relationships, being able to speak in front of people. It's, I think, too, looking at each person individually. I think as a teacher, you're taught to look at each child and help them to grow. You're teaching children, not subjects. So my experience with children, I look at each woman that comes to us, and you know, sometimes people say I'm a little inconsistent, but it's because everybody's different, and you have to, fair is not always equal, and you have to work with what you've got and find the strengths and go with that, and you know, always in grace. So it's interesting.
How many girls have gone through?
We've had over 125 girls go through, so.
Well, that's
so-
amazing when you think about it, isn't it?
It really is.
And common questions. What's the average length of time? I know you hear that one a lot.
Well, average is 3 to 4 months, but we're taking in the girls. There are those that stay a year, and there's some girls that come in and find out the first couple days that they're not ready to
Right.
make a complete change in their life. So they may only stay a couple days. So average, that takes all that in.
And what about
consideration.
age?
Well, I would say the typical age is 20s and 30s. We've had, 18-year-olds, and that's a little more difficult. We've had almost 55-year-old is the oldest, I think, 58. So.
And
yeah.
and I can remember early on, and part of, not only is it Grace Haven with the 2 homes, but also you're part of going into the jail on
Yes.
Thursday evenings with a group of other ladies that go ahead and have
Yes.
Bible study and
Uh-huh.
minister to the girls in the jail.
Yeah, that's been amazing, because when we first started going on in, a friend of mine, Kathy Meyer, and I started going in together, and we would have 10, 12 women that were incarcerated. And so now we're having 60, 70 women
Wow.
that are incarcerated. So we also do a class in the jail called Biblical Substance Abuse. It's called counseling, but it's really not counseling, where we go in and it's a set curriculum. It's by Almond Tree Ministries. And we go in and we work with a smaller group. And it's a 14-week class that teaches God's Word and addiction, and that God can set us free. A lot of people don't have hope because they think once an addict, always an addict. But all of us know in our own lives that we've had sin, and it's not always true that once you're in a sin, you're always going to be in that sin, because God
Right.
God can, even if we have medical or physical things that lead to that, God can make a way for us, and so it's real freeing for them.
And I know a lot of times that when you have these girls in there, it's kind of like the first time that they've been given an opportunity for maybe a second or third chance. And a lot of times, sadly, families are kind of done with them at that point because they've been in and out of the system. They've kind of disappointed parents. Sometimes they've stolen from parents. And so it's kind of like a fresh start. You're ready, let's start today with a new life.
And families have to be done with them. They can't enable them to continue on this lifestyle. It's very difficult for families to say, we are done, you're on your own. But until people do that, then the person isn't going to get it, that it's really that serious and that they need to make a change. So sometimes they still don't get it.
Right.
But families, absolutely.
And what a terrible problem it is, because there's not too many people that are not affected by someone that has some kind of addiction, and we're no different. Our family's no different.
Right.
Whether it's a niece or a cousin or a brother or sister, a mom and a dad, a fellow employee that in some way are not affected by the opiates, the heroin, alcoholism, marijuana, and all these kind of things.
No, absolutely, yes.
And I think it's very concerning when we think about there may be an initiative, and there probably will be, to have marijuana legalized in the state of Ohio.
Right.
And my thought on that has always been, and a lot of people will say it's no worse than alcohol, it's just not a problem. But the reality is, when you would have another intoxicant, another substance, another mind-altering, many times addictive product that would be circulated to hundreds of thousands, and young people would see that this is now something that is socially acceptable.
It's legal.
Yeah, it's legal, and most people obey the law,
Mm-hmm.
and so you would just create a whole new generation of people that had problems with this. I mean, I can see very little good coming from. I can't see any good coming from
And it
it.
really changes people's personality and their ability to function and have, goals and fulfill those goals. So, if any young people are listening, if you talk to any of the girls that come to our house, whatever the reason is they started drugs, and some of it is just to party and have fun, it becomes not fun. It becomes horrible to them, and they suffer. So it's not something you want to start.
We've certainly got so much to talk about. I'm going to have you back next week, but we're going to talk both weeks about this. One of the ways that Grace Haven is funded is a yearly fundraiser that is put on. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the fundraiser, when it's going to be held, and how people can get tickets, or how they can become involved?
Yes, well, the fundraiser is yearly. We have a chili cook-off. It's lots of fun. Yeah. And it's kind of grown.
Especially if you like chili.
Yeah, well, especially, even if you don't like chili.
Okay.
It's kind of fun. There's cupcakes and salad and stuff
All
too.
right.
So, but it's a lot of good time. It's on February 22nd this year. And it's right here at Fairfield Christian. It was full last year, so we had to make sure we have it at a place that can hold everybody. And, Grace Haven Ministries is separate from Fairfield Christian Church. I know sometimes people have that question. Fairfield Christian Church is my church, and I love Fairfield Christian Church, but we're multi-denominational for Grace Haven. But we are having it here from 6 to 8 on Saturday, February 22nd. And we need a few more chili cookers. We have about 13, but I could use about 25. So, and we also have a silent auction. We've got lots of wonderful things that people have donated. So appreciate the community, the way they've donated, and really try to help people in need. We live in an amazing community. So we're having a silent auction. We're having a live auction. We have a few items for that. And we need more. So anyone can contact me on that. Our website is www.gracehavenfairfield.com. Gracehavenfairfield.com.
And is there a telephone number if they want to contact you personally?
There is. It's 740-808-6255.
So that's coming up February 22nd.
Yes.
6 to 8 p.m. at Fairfield Christian Church at the corner of Columbus and Whittier. If you're not familiar where the church is.
Door B.
You don't need tickets, right? You just show up that night.
Show up that night. Our suggested donation is $10 per person, $20 per family. Of course, we don't want you bringing 20 people in your family.
Yeah,
but if you want to, that's up to you. It is a suggested donation. And we'd love to have you. We do prefer cash and check because, of course, credit card, we have to pay a fee for that. But we will be able to take credit card if need be. So. It's
by 8 o'clock. Everybody's on their way home. They're not going to tie the whole evening up. It is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
And people look forward to it.
Yeah, we have a group that's singing. All For Him is the group that's coming, and they donate their time to come. And we have Mike LeMay's the auctioneer, and we have some celebrity judges. So
all kind of fun stuff.
Yes.
February 22nd. Again, Loretta's phone number 740-808-6255. The website one more time.
It's gracehavenfairfield.com.
Going to have Loretta back next week, and we're going to talk more about addiction, maybe some things that parents, families can look for if they see some unusual behavior. I know you've dealt a lot with those kind of things, but I'd like to have you back. Appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. My favorite of all guests, Loretta Phalen, and I am just so proud of her and what she's done in and for our community and for God. Well, the clock on the wall says we've got to go until next week, same time, same place. God bless, and we'll see you right here next week.
When it comes to choosing a school, parents who want the best education for their students look for academic excellence, skilled teachers, a safe school that encourages their values. Students want a school with competitive athletics, unique opportunities, and friendships that last a lifetime. Fairfield Christian Academy, the place where parents and students agree. Enrolling now at fairfieldchristianacademy.com.